Good evening and welcome, Random Mania fans. My name is Dathis. I am here with the fantastic Night Dew 14, and we are commentating Soleras versus Starman, round one of their best of three. How you doing tonight, Night Dew?
Doing pretty well here today. We've got a absolutely wonderful start as we already spy that Edward up there. We are looking for Rosa. We're looking for Kane, and these two are starting game one for the the great honor to hopefully face Pankraz in the round of eight. So have fun with have fun with that one, guys.
Yeah, as someone who you got to face him, and I got to roll to your lovely seeds. One laden with vanilla, the other laden with the lack of speed that we like to see. I'm excited to see your take on these runners versus Pankraz if we can ever get some time talking about that. But in general, what I'm really excited to talk about is this Edward start. This is half of Team 90 HP start. Could be really good or could be really bad with the C Neki flag.
I mean, it all kind of depends on what weapon that Edward starts out with. Do we have a dancing dagger? Do we have a Sid? I mean, do we get Yang and like next to no attack power unless we find some stuff? What are we going to roll today, and how much extra looting or stuff to do we rush Hobbs and hope somebody good's there? So many questions, so many initial routing things here. So yeah, we're probably just a little bit here from starting up, and we're gonna get some answers to some of these questions here real soon.
Absolutely. Again, the pairing is going to dictate where a lot of the people are going to go, or where they're going to go first. Are we going to see, deep dive into the watery pass? Maybe. Are we going to see Evelyn Cave, Evelyn Castle, which is like one of the highest like looted places I've seen, fallen back into favor with this T Pro and the Cell Zero flags. You're not going to get your money aside from whatever our lovely restreamer Oscar424 is going to give you. And while that's happening, Awaken Smoke 3 is going to be tracking and seeing what lovely key items we have. Big shout outs to the team letting us just do the talking up here.
Yep. And while I love the Evelyn Castle play, me and Evelyn Castle are not on speaking terms right now.
Yeah, that was a couple of rude ones. So we have Team Overworld Underpower, Rat Tail with Bahamut. I see an Earth Hammer. If we see Sid, man, that is a pretty solid start.
Oh, Wizard Hat and a Fire Claw, a little bit going through there as well. So a little bit of a starter for any mage that shows up. One of the elemental trifecta for Yang. Again, what did these two start with? And how fast can we rush maybe Hobbs? And yeah, plenty of money for these two. So shopping on the table still.
Yeah, with this amount of money, as we've said with the Cell Zero, you get a grab bag of money between 20k, and I think the upper reaches about 80 or 90, I think. I'm not sure the actual top end. But if you have money like this, you can kind of just go, and we actually have a really good view from Soleras. That Cecil, you are going to be solid through the overworld. That is a black sword. That is a blessing.
As a black sword, that is, however, a Dreamer Harp, so Eddie is regulated to not doing much. Instant Siren and the Watery Pass, so we really start with two, I guess, here, because both of them are grabbing that here. Really good find, honestly, especially if you find, like, an early Magma Key. I believe that Black Sword is actually... Now, you probably don't want to give a bunch of XP to Dark Knight, Cecil, and Edward, but you can totally swoon an egg or two.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what you're gonna probably see in the long run, but if absolutely necessary, you get a magma key somewhere, and we have, say, maybe we have a quack kid. You could just do that, get him online real quick, take care of anything else, because that quake will take care of the entirety of the blue planet. That is where you don't mind dumping some XP into Dark Knight Cecil. Not desired, but a little bit of early power is worth the end. Soleras actually checking some item shops, probably looking for... There's a dancing dagger. Yeah, this is now Team Power Overworld.
That's absolutely wonderful to find. Now put them in the back row. There's a Sid in the Kaipo bed, so that's the tank right there. So we have just about everything we need. Starman did not go to Kaipo there. I do actually like those Ether 2s in the Kaipo item shop. They're almost as good as 10s sometimes.
Absolutely. And we have Kane with Dr. Luggage here on the top of Mount Hobbs. A great character, can use that Poison Axe to very strong effect. He also might have started with a Fire Sword, not bad. But as we see, he's going to be... Oh, no, going to throw to Boreas instead, but he's going to be putting out some damage when we get to later on.
Did miss that Boreas, but wonderful for just eliminating that first phase of Dr. Luggage here. And with the HP split, one Black Sword hit and one jump here from Kane, assuming he doesn't get slept. Nope, he just did Cecil there. Should take care of things here, and Soleras is mimicking this play and does have a Dancing Dagger in tow. Might actually be able to just kind of get through that first phase. And maybe keep that Boreas on hand?
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't mind using these J items early because they lose their value very, very quickly. So the sooner you get them out of your inventory, kind of the better. But we could have a multi-boss location somewhere else. Like we could have Dark Imps, we could have Calbrina dolls somewhere early on. We could have Mylon and Friends. There's a whole lot of options for it. But again, to burn it here, not a bad thing still. Gets the best use quote out of it. Replenishes a Firebomb though. That is the HP-based one. So Sid will make good use of it. Right now, this squad, not so much.
So much. Might keep it in your pocket. Even if you don't find that Sid, Paladin Cecil does come build in with 600, and after one fight is usually like touching, 8 to 900 depending on what you end up fighting. So a good thing to just kind of keep in your pocket for later.
Indeed, and backup Hobbs kind of like average to be honest. I don't blame Soleras for skipping it. Without exit, it's very much less attractive. The Starman looting a place that is honestly talked about as very medium. The amount of chests here that have 0 from what people are saying, as we see. Oh, well, I just ate my words right there.
Oh man, Boreas, a Cursed Ring, and a Black Bell. That is one of the best Damsian treasuries I have ever seen. Yeah, that's absolutely nuts, honestly, there.
11 chests, 3-0 GPs, but the other chests more than made up for it. Also, if we find a Young, we have that Thunderclaw, and we know that there is no law when we have it. Or Edge to make great use of those elemental weaknesses. These chests in Antlion, though, absolutely nothing going on.
Yeah, Antlion is one of those places where I'm kind of looking for like some of those tier 5s. I know I'm not going to hit tier 6s there, but maybe I can fish like an Ogre Axe out of it, or an Ice Brand, or a Blizzard Spear, something to that effect. You're not looking for game breaking. Even if you're looking for like maybe a J item or two, it's not a bad place to go. And if you kept that Boreas here, well, here's Leg.
Jose, speaking of an Ice Brand, this would be a really good spot to have it. So Rubicante does everything with the fight command, or that counters with fire. Dancing Dagger is technically magic and doesn't really care. Additionally, Jump is not fight, so it does not trigger. So Rubicante just takes 3 hits, goes down. It's a nice, quick, easy bit of XP. Starman looting a little bit deeper in. Finds a bandana that was missed over on Soleras' side. No key items. Riddy is going to be real happy if she joins the squad.
Especially, I saw a Wizard Hat, a Sork Robe in Watery Pass. So yeah, even with that Leviathan, a Riddy is actually a pretty decent hit here. Does need a little bit more help than Palom here, but you get one of those big ticket summons like a Leviathan or a Bahamut, and you're definitely happy to see her, actually.
Absolutely. So this Antlion, not really awarding much. We do have the Hobbs giving us that 5th objective, so a very freebie early on, probably one of the earliest objectives we've seen. And Soleras, with a fairly low power team, I don't blame going and doing this with a bull check before doing maybe ordeals.
Yep. So a quick did you know, you also did see Starman fire off that Boreas immediately, and did land it with the Flame Cloak still closed. However, the Cloak of Flame only starts absorbing fire, or absorbing ice, after it opens and closes once. So real heads up play just to kind of just get through that fight real fast there.
You know what? I actually didn't even know that. I thought it was always absorbing ice. That's very interesting. And speaking of enemies, you want to use that J item on the AoE stuff. This is a great fight for it. Boreas takes care of everybody. Soleras doing a little bit of extra menuing too. Nice one and done.
Yep, relatively free. I mean, hey, we're actually kind of happy to see that Rubicon go down this early because Rubicon is one of those bosses you just really don't want to see in some certain late spots, like, you know, an Ogopogo or Alter, or, you know, something like that. That's a Magma Key. The hook route Dream is dashed, unfortunately, as all runners do now have full incomplete access to the underground. However, it did also mean the full defense is very likely a required, so we may get a required double or even triple dip of Fabul here.
Speaking of Fabul, having a good couple of items here. Soleras buying that curse ring, not knowing that there is one for free. This is the nice thing about that extra money. Like, you don't worry so much about it. Finding life potions here too. Fabul fairly loaded as shop-wise. Mute Dagger, which would be good for Cecil, Kane, and Edge if we find him to deal with any mages. And those life pots, just a nice little premium to have on top.
Yeah, especially with a team like this so far. And one thing our runners may have to be on the lookout for here, as Soleras is on the way to Mount Ordeals here, is our party really doesn't have actual access to any kind of healing at the moment. Unlike the Swiss Flags, they don't start out with a pile of Cure 2s on hand, and that's something you really actually want to see an early White Mage for, or, you know, it's a little bit of extra chopping you almost have to do on the overworld here. Soleras is going to climb without that particular safety net. The first spot, usually not too bad. The second spot is usually what you want them for, though.
Absolutely. Starman throwing off one of those Thor Rages that was in the opening kit. Not doing enough to kill fully the dolls. A third one should definitely make sure that they all go down. But the real nice thing is looking at what Soleras has. Okay, so this is not the way underground. Hello, Soleras. Thankfully, she's not in the other spot, though.
Yeah, thankfully that, the one big thing here is you can hit her with magic, because you're going to see Eddie go in with that dancing dagger here, but Cecil can't exactly hit her with that, actually, was that one there? I can't even see, but yeah, Kane's going to go up. The good news is she has, like, no attack power here. So even those swings back aren't really going to do much here. The one thing you're really not going to like, again, as I said with the situation in terms of their curatives, is you really want to actually keep her out of the tornado form here, because she spends time in the tornado form. She's going to start dropping weeks on your party, and with no way really to recover from that, that's not a good place to be.
Yeah, and Soleras making really good use of the run command to buffer, making it so that he's getting multiple turns in here before this Valvalis is really doing anything. Throwing out dancing daggers, getting jumps, maybe miss, but again, as you said, nothing but punches, no weak spells. This is a very good clinic on low-level Valvalis in kind of like medium spots that you don't mind seeing. Also, we do see here on Starman's side, there's a Sparkle that we're going to find out, and here's a Porum. Here's your first healer.
The first healer, guarded only by Pale Dim, not bad to find here. Only 400 hit points in this first slot, so you're not even going to really worry about those too many slow counters here. Hiding Edward, you really do kind of want, again, Starman in the same boat here. No healing, and we do get an absolutely cursed mountain. Wow, Val into Pogo Pogo. Meanwhile, we got Elements as the second fight here. Is gonna punch a little bit. I am not sure of the armor situation here. But both of our runners right now looking at a bad fight. Now, he does have those life potions. Unfortunately, the fact is, a couple more big waves, and this, all the life potions in the world aren't really going to help you too much there.
Yeah, unless you can get some good dodges with Kane, unfortunately, it's going to be very hard to power through this. As you said, those percentage hits are just not fun. He's bonking for a good, like, 90 on Kane in the back. So this is the last big wave that's going to keep his team okay. Ogopogo's probably going to drop one of them real quickly. Kane, if he jumps and dodges, is going to be okay. But speaking of dodging, Starman dodging through majority of that fight, getting through it very handily, rewarded with half of an objective and a healer.
Yeah, that was a wonderful elements fight. Just getting Eddie out of the way. The Fire 2 not doing that much on the Rubicon and just having Kane come down for the rest of the HP skip. Not even have to see the second of that part of that fight here. And here comes that big wave. Eddie is out of the way, so he will be able to pop back in. The question is, will he be able to throw a life potion? Oh, well, there's a miss, so it still has life here.
RNG giveth, RNG taketh away. Look at that low attack roll on Kane. Again, great use of the buffer command, using a lot of the life potions that he did pick up, but being able to just, again, lucky RNG on there, gets the jump. If he can get Eddie on this hide, or even, oh, well, you curse here, big wave. If Eddie can recover this is going to be really good, but it's going to be a very resource-intensive fight.
Yeah, the good news is they did buy a ton of life potions. Unfortunately, Ogo punches down the Eddie, does not miss this time. And yeah, I would actually totally be retreating off ordeals here. That early healer, and Starman is diving to the underground, is potentially not interested in that Paladin Cecil just yet. Does not know about that incredibly rude Mount Ordeals here. So, might actually does have 2 sirens. Again, does have that black sword, a coffin play. Actually, for a Kane and a Porum in your party now to get access to that Berserk spell, a lot is pretty enticing, especially that extra siren they found in the Watery Pass.
Absolutely, and this is one of those, like, check your objectives and check your freebies. We're in the freebie part, so we have 2 free objectives here. We have there's 2 free key items, one being here in the Fey March, as well as one from Sheila 1 check that they can set up by going into Sylph Cave. Looks like Starman is going for some of this higher tiered loot area. Full Moon, good if we see an edge. I saw Samurai arrows too, with an archer bow. Once we get a transformed Cecil, he's going to be okay, not great. The archer bow is very medium, but the dwarf axe though is the nice prize.
Yeah, I think as soon as I see that Dwarf Axe, I say, I don't care what else is here, and Starman's just gonna keep looting here, and there's the swordsman chest, so it does pay for it, but yeah, if anything, we'll definitely be picking up that Dwarf Axe again. That is the only way right now to back row this Kane right now, so you can actually put Kane back in the back row like he was in all of Swiss when you started with one of those things. And back row's just amazingly good here, especially the Sea-Necky flag that kind of limits us on the armor that we have found here. Defense still important, actually.
Yeah, as we've seen from some of these fights, punchy fights, not good with no armor. Flame Sword, not bad to use some elemental weaknesses, but the big ones are kind of gone with the elements. We still have a Mylon Zed kind of kicking around. Speaking of fire, Fire Bomb. Yeah, okay. Blizzard Spear, there you go. Alright, Kane's definitely doing pretty good.
Yeah, and especially with using that Poison Axe there, now you can actually... You did find a second Poison Axe, did find a Luca Key, ew. But, yeah, when it comes down to it there, that Poison Axe actually is really good because it does give our Cecil another real option here in terms of weaponry, other than that bow and arrow combo there. It does find a big bomb and some camping gear in Rydia's Land of Summons house there. And we're just kind of moving along. Did not get the HP skip, is seeing the other end of elements, but should be just fine here. And that is a Dark Imson Leviathan and some flavor of Mylon in the Asura fight. That is not a very rude Fey March there, just not with this party yet.
So that Fey March is actually a little bit ruder right now. We don't have an Hourglass to deal with those imps right now. So they are not what you want to see. That is a punchy spot. That is a pretty fast spot too. So they're going to, you know, beat the ever-living tar out of your party. Unless you can get ourselves again a coffin or something along those lines and take care of 1 or 2 of them. But until then, even if Paladin Cecil is sitting in the background, unless he's got a high amount of gear and you can get some good cover strats going, that is a bad time incoming.
Yeah, that is the other thing for Paladin Cecil here. Even if he doesn't have a weapon, he's pretty useful. Just if you can strap any kind of good armor to him and say, hey, just go stand in front of the enemy for me, it's fine. We do see silk webs in the Baron shop. Soleras picks up one, presumably for a Zeroma's fight in the far future here.
Absolutely. At least a couple of silk webs are good throughout the sea. There's a couple of locations where you're gonna want to have them. As we said, Zeromas, great prep work for that. 3 grand, and you're kind of good. Starman's like, yep, I've got my start for Sheila 1. Let's go check that. Because again, check your freebies. The other freebie, a Luca key we saw, not great for now. It's a little bit of a high tier area, and if we bounce off ordeals, we're gonna bounce off that right now. Hopefully, I think the nicest thing non-key item wise would be an Excalibur up here, or even a Crystal Sword. But I'm not holding my breath for much.
Hold my breath for a crystal sword, especially in this Oscar Seed economy here. But a big hook actually to get us a shot at that pink tail, a crystal sword, an Excal, Avenger. We got 2 people who could really use some of that. Just some Zeus Golems. I say just some Zeus Golems. That's actually not a key item, but an amazing find here. Something we don't see much in these flags here. It is going to jumpstart the strength of either one of these 2. Kane now, because Cecil can't use it as Dark Knight, but yeah, wonderful to find.
Yeah, the really especially nice thing about that kind of puts the trap chests in Evelyn kind of back on the table. What it also gives you resistance against ogres, so you can kind of take that and with the poison axe just beat down one of those ogres, get some levels, get this Porum up to Berserk as we were talking about, and put her online for the team, and get these fighters kind of doing their whole thing after getting through this ordeals. This is really going to be the big break spot. What we find here was the only thing we found with the Dark Knight Cecil, the Paladin along the way, or is there going to be a little bit of vanilla maybe, or is there going to be something else spicy?
Well, I mean, here's the other thing. I mean, even if the Paladin along the way, we're obviously we've exhausted our overworld checks here. So, I mean, if you're not going to ordeals, your other options right now are Dwarf, chasing that Luca Key, a Tealess Tower, or finding some way. And I don't know if we've seen too many of the other item shop checks here, other than the Famar item shop here. So, we do still have potential. That was just Cure 2 and Hermes, correct? But yeah, that was, we don't really have too much in the way of easy checks lined up here, so we do definitely want that Paladin Cecil online before venturing forth here, especially if we can find means of killing those dragon eggs there, because again, with that Paladin Cecil online, just having access to leveling all your characters up here is really, you can't understate it here.
Yeah, absolutely not. There's so much XP that needs to be gained, and just so much. You've got to assess a party that is powerful-ish, but nothing online. The sirens are again the big thing. If we do get this early hook, then that's going to be earlier hook. It'd be nice because again, like you said, there's the pink tail, the rat tail turn-ins. So that's 2 more key items. There's also the character on the hook route proper, and maybe a cheeky Demas hiding out there.
It's a lot to ask there, but yeah, that's definitely possible. And Soleras is our first encounter of the inventory boss here, going to check that house in the back of Tamra, and unfortunately getting ambushed by a big jerk and an inventory boss there.
The really unfortunate thing with these flags is, again, with that sell 0 on, we're not getting the use of like actually going and selling things. I didn't quite see what that was, but that's was 3 lovely words that validated the seed.
It was an agricultural something.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. Bacchus wines here though. 1 or 2 pickups really nice. Good to know for later on.
So we'll call him Vanilla Adjacent here because he is a farmer in the vanilla game here. So yeah, definitely Vanilla Adjacent. As Starman gets the not so great news of Ogo Pogo hanging out and just absolutely decimating this party here. Yeah, there's the reset, and does probably want to heal up that group before taking another swing here. Does have the Porum. does only have, and what I would have actually liked to see Starman do at the beginning of this whole thing is there's a chocobo forest right outside of Mount Ordeals. And sure, it was only Cure 1 at the time, but you could have at least topped off your group and tapped that white chocobo for a free MP heal.
Yeah, and what we saw is I believe we saw Porum kind of run out of MP or get very low, not able to heal up the entire squad, and then takes a full 110 hit. That's Hallam's starting HP and damage after getting waved. This is not a gentle Ogopogo. It is not going out into that night.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if Starman did take the moment to actually equip that Porum, because 174 seems like a lot if a Sorcerer Robe and a Wizard is involved here, but we do actually see Soleras going down there with this Dark Knight Cecil here. We see an egg, and the big question right now here is, actually didn't see, I'm guessing...
There were coffins.
Yep, there were coffins. Okay, so we don't even have to play the Will It Swoon game. It will coffin, so... and again, I love this play just because this 34,000 XP is your ticket through Ogopogo Mount Ordeals right there.
Yeah, exit Berserk. Porum has everything she needs to kind of get this party going. Although, speaking of getting through this Mount Ordeal, Starman jumping his way to victory. That is, you know what? Everything we just said, completely out the window. Getting through that fight with a bit of swag. I want everybody who's ever said, "Oh man, Kane's, whatever, he's a betrayer." He is carrying. My boy is here, and I am here for him.
I did see him jump at least one big wave. I'm going to guess that was the only one. I did see like 800 point jumps, so you only really needed 4 of them or a little bit of extra help, unless I saw some more. I may have been watching the other stream there at that point. Anyway, we're going to get this key item. We are going to get a Baron key. That's interesting. We are going to get a Paladin Cecil, and I would not blame Starman if the immediate check barring a very cheeky Mist Dragon up here appears to immediately... Oh, never mind. I have apparently summoned a cheeky Mist Dragon.
You are not the band, but you are a Night Witch, not Night Wish tonight. That is very interesting, though. That could be really good. It could be really bad. There could be some fun stuff here. I would love to see it be as vanilla as possible and it give out the Twin Harp. That's kind of what its vanilla is. Yeah, I'm really interested to see where Starman goes from here and how Soleras tackles the exact same thing. Now that we're going to have a fairly powerful party, and especially since he's got a bunch of levels on his squad.
Yeah, the good news for Soleras is Cecil does exist in that party, so Mount Ordeals is in your head here, especially after that Siren. Just go there here with your real ultimate power and teach that Canadian snake a lesson here.
I don't know about you, but I'm pretty happy to see that these runners were high-fiving on Mount Ordeals, eh?
Yeah. I mean, and both of them, again, probably just going to immediately turn into Mist Dragon here, and then I'd be surprised if they didn't go to Baron. Again, party is still a little, I don't want to say squishy, a little less squishy with Paladin Cecil, but I definitely like a Baron play here. And actually, on Speed Pro, one thing, and I don't really get to do it too much, especially because... hi, Protect Ring. I mean, you're not a key item, but you will protect this Porum very, very well.
Yeah, that's something you're definitely going to want to throw on her and be like, this one you stay alive, sit in the back row, we will protect you, we promise. But yeah, so that means that Baron is kind of the natural way you go next. We know one of the bosses, and again, was that Bahamut that we're going to have to get through. Not going to be as big of a deal. Cecil and Kane going to be rocking double poisons and doing decent damage, especially with the black belt, bandanas, and everything like that. What I'm more interested in is kind of seeing, again, Soleras. He now has a lot more power with those extra levels. Does he say, okay, let's do Baron, or does maybe he go back down and do Dwarf Castle? Because those are two bosses that we have not seen.
Yeah, Dwarf Castle is definitely an interesting play here. The levels are. I'm kind of wondering a little bit on how much, like, say, Kane has in terms of armor here. The one bad thing about Dwarf Castle is it does punch, and it punches kind of a little hard, honestly. So you really definitely want to have. Now, Porum does already know Berserk, and that's huge, honestly. It's just, do you have enough survival at this point to get through the opening onslaught before you can set up your Berserkers here? Because, again, dual Poison Axe is not the most accurate thing in the world, but when they do hit, they hit fairly hard there, so...
With the squad we have here, you could just roll the entirety of the squad in the back row. You have Porum in the middle, and then you have, say, Cecil on top and Kane in the bottom. Cecil getting the bonus accuracy in that slot. Kane not getting any extra, but still, it's Kane. He can do just fine as it is. There is that possibility, so it does save you a little bit from those punches. Edward's up front, but I mean, he does anchor things right now. Unfortunately, without the spoon flag, he is extremely two-dimensional. He does one of two different things. He anchors for you, or he solos Zeromus. There's no in between.
I mean, I am very, I'm very glad. I mean, I will bin an Edward usually the first chance I get. Anyways, but he does have his uses, and I was actually very happy early in this tournament to kind of discover that a great thing, if you have a leveled Edward and you have a good anchor, and you have no white mages and you have access to Cure 3s, he can just kind of pop out and keep a Berserker going. In this case, a Crystal Sword Cecil. Yeah, he has use. He is not completely use impaired, just mostly.
Yeah, he has very, very good position or potential for certain things. As you said, the backup medic. He also has a few really cheeky strategies outside of Zeromus he can do. The Thunderstruck on Odin being one, another one of letting Evil Wall punch itself to death. There's a lot of cheapness. Speaking of punch, though, we have the boss punch mage sitting here on Baron Throne. He's decided that Fabul, one kingdom's not enough. He wants Fabul and he wants Baron.
Unfortunately, we have brought his crippling weakness to the fight here. Unfortunately, punch mages do not like getting hit by paladins after going through a little bit of combat here, so we're going to see one more kick, and then we are going to see a four-letter word that begins an ouch.
And we have that exclamation mark. We have the crumble. This is a good time, as we see here, for Starman to be messing around with some inventory, adjusting things to where he wants them to be. That's again really heads up players from some runners to make the most use out of different spots, so you don't have to go back in your inventory and just mess around that way. Soleras getting the good/bad news of Protect Ring, and we're gonna get a new character check. Yeah, beat Yang, and he's like, "Fine, I'll join your team."
Guys, what'd I miss?
Teleports behind you. Nothing personnel, right?
We're just going to assume we're just going to assume somebody threw into the back wall, and he's like, "Oh, hey guys, my mind control's gone now."
No, see what happened is it happens after the second kick. He says, "Ouch." What the actual ouch was is he kicked past the squad, slammed through the door, hit himself so hard. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm your friend, right?" And just joined the team immediately afterwards.
So nice of our party to be completely accepting of this here.
Also, technically with him in Baron Castle, is that first party rock? Is that technically like French vanilla because he goes from one Baron location to another Baron second location?
You could see that here. We are going to get the Baron basement check here, where Odin would normally reside. Actually, Starman gonna do the thing I was talking about earlier. T Pro Baron Treasury, actually pretty good.
Yeah, Odin and a great bow. Again, we've got so many great things for this Rydia, but just nothing can come from it without her being whole. That's a crystal armor, though. That Cecil's back row viable now.
Absolutely here. Is gonna run into, what do we have here? We've got something I would not touch there, and Starman agrees. Antlion, pretty darn rude right there, is going to punch and punch and punch some more, and is gonna punch really hard actually. So anyway, Starman says, let's go to greener pastures, or at least let's go to more orange pastures, as I believe that's at least orange brown. That is the color of treasure chest. Yes.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of memes we like to joke around about here. We have Cave Value. Again, we have the Betrayer of Cain. But one of the nice memes that we've had in here, we've had many people from the community join that, is we have the ability to.
That treachery.
Yeah, thankfully Skull lets me have a little bit of fun and play around a little bit of audio. This is a really solid treasury. That light sword, that Gungnir, ninja, not to Moonveil. Wow. All right, this is for this T Pro. That is a very solid 7 out of 10 in my opinion. Maybe breaching 8.
Yeah, the Gungnir for Kane actually also really good. I mean, actually slightly less power than that Poison Axe, but so much more accuracy. Yeah, that was an absolutely wonderful treasury. Lightsaber for Cecil. One Zeus Gauntlet to pass between them all. And I actually really like that ninja shirt in case. I mean, hey, we've got 2 character checks coming up. I know they've seen like 1 or 2 ninjas, or like middle swords at least here. A double middle. Oh wait, we've got a full moon as well. Yeah, I would totally be happy with a ninja here on top of this here tower, and even a Stardust Rod for those clamoring for a black mage here. Yeah, stuff good for people here. Stuff good for people not yet appearing in, maybe in this seed, but maybe not.
So far we know Rose is in the seed somewhere. I'm hoping she's up here because I need some vanilla to satiate me. We haven't had any yet, and I'm getting a little twitchy. We do know that we've seen 5 other characters, so we know that there's going to be 4 others that were not, sorry, 6 other characters, because we've also seen Sid. We are missing 3 dupes, and then we have 2 characters that are not going to be taking the day off. This can kind of show us pretty much who we're going to be missing. I think Dwarf Castle would 100% confirm if all were original characters, if my math is correct. Because we got the 5 here, we've got the 2 extras, and then 3. Yeah, so it'll be of the total 10 of the 10 that we have.
Yeah, to be fair, I am totally here for Tower of Dupes right now. And Starman does pass that Zeus Gauntlet over to Yang here, which I agree with after a few levels, actually, here. It is loading down this Yang. Between the Poison there, the Karate is another 3, the Banana Spine, the Zeus is another 10 there. Yang scales the best off of strength here, and here we go. We've got... we've got something you'd really actually kind of like a Thunderclaw for. Didn't our runners find a Thunderclaw?
There is in fact no law now. The really funny thing is that lightsaber becomes so useless during this fight. This is one of the few bosses that is extremely resistant to it because, hey, you know what's really hard? Coding. So they made it so that if you're weak to darkness, to make Dark Knight Cecil useful, they made it so that it is resistant / absorbs wholly. And the lightsaber absorbs wholly, which is why you see him do no damage by comparison in this game.
And I always wondered what the coders were thinking here, because honestly, Cecil is still doing damage here. However, if you were to have the white spell here, Octoman would totally just straight up absorb that. So we were in the dark ages, I believe, of RPGs where, yeah, weapons couldn't actually heal bosses just yet.
I mean, that would have been really interesting to just bonk it and heal it back up. That would put a very much a damper in this. Hey, Board and Rivers, if you guys are listening, can we have boss heal on, maybe? Let's see if we can make that a flag.
Meanwhile, Soleras getting the excellent news on the status of this treasury here. Now, I know I didn't actually put a full rating down on it yet, but yeah, that's for these flags, that is a high 9 or even perfect 10 treasury there.
Really, that's an interesting and bold call. Speaking of Bolt, Starman getting through the fight gets his Porum up to the level where she also knows exit. So his characters are only a few levels behind where Soleras's are, but still has the resources of both of those sirens. So honestly, kudos to him and props to that. They may not have all of the levels that the Solaris has, but they're very right behind. French vanilla, delicious.
Vanilla, we see that there is an Odin in the Golbez spot down in Dwarf Castle here. French Vanilla Rosa, so no Tower of Dupes. We do get our Rosa objective here, but more importantly, who is our second character in the chair here? As Rosa is going to be freeing the character that would normally be in her spot, and that is Old Man Tella.
Well, we know that there's one character out in the wild that we do not know about. So there is, as our restreamer Oscar points out, Team Blonde/White Hair in Zot. I'm here for that little thing. Rosa getting out that Porum. I strongly agree with this. Rosa is the better of the two, and she's going to be doing a great job just throughout the rest of the seed now. She is what you need. Throw on every bit of gear that she had, and it's going to be fine. You're at the point where Porum didn't have enough levels to really outshine this Rosa. I think what is it? When she hits about 35 is when it's kind of like, we keep the Porum instead.
It's roughly that. That is a rude Kainatso here. Might want to be queuing up one of those Thor Rages here pretty quick, as that wave's going to hit a lot of people here. I am actually in these seeds, especially with the fact that we can't buy, 3 full cases of Bacchus wine here. It comes down to the fact that sometimes you want to say that, but sometimes 2 white mages better than 1 here, and I'm just going to say it till it doesn't count.
Definitely not. Tella is, again, your anchor. He throws Berserk up in the final fight, and that's kind of about the best he does. Enough damage went off so that we only saw what looks like around 200-ish on average in some of the areas, because there's not been a lot of healing. So we're getting through that fight very, very swift, very easily. Rosa does go down, unfortunately. But Yang, with that wave up, tossing out 1,000 damage. Like, super strong as Kane when he's jumping, and just ripping through the HP that's there.
Yeah, some joking aside, that Tella actually does enable another thing. If we find a Darkness Crystal right here, that's a gold dragon grind, actually. That's a lot of money. It will fix any money issues you might have here. But all the same, he does enable some other cheeky strategies here.
Yeah, we do have the hiding in the shell. We do have the remedies coming out. A fair amount of HP being recovered. Cecil and Kane and Yang having to kind of tear through this just to beat back. They will do more than what the healing is, as we see again the crumble and Soleras finding the other white mage. Curious to see how he retools his party. Are we going to have mirroring parties again, or are we going to have something different?
Yeah, the thing is, you see Soleras with that extra. I mean, we do see Starman getting through this, and kudos to that. The big thing here is Soleras is making up ground here. Did enter the tower at significantly less. I don't have the exact times, but was kind of entering the tower as Starman was just dealing with the end of the first fight. Chewed through that Octomem no problem, and is stepping up to Kainatso, who is going to be much less of a threat with all this extra XP here.
Yeah, and kind of no surprise, we're getting the mirrors. The characters are gone. We have that Eddie with the Dancing Dagger did so much work here in this early part of the seed. 100% do not disagree with getting him removed. This is, I think, kind of just going to be the squad till the end, and I am 100% here for it. Goes a little bit different on the teams, though. Instead of gearing up Rosa to do some heavy lifting, is getting very lucky with his prediction.
He's getting a little lucky here. Again, Rosa not going to contribute anything immediately. Doesn't know Berserk. Both of them threw away the Porum that did know Berserk here. Again, Rosa definitely the superior white mage here, but is going to use this Tella to throw up the Berserk on Kane here. and is gonna roll through. And actually, Starman had the XP. I'm not. Yeah, Soleras was making up some hardcore time there, actually.
Yeah, and we're seeing the use of, again, as you're saying, Tella throws on weak in the middle, make sure it hits. And this is going to be, again, the great infusion of XP. As we've seen it, just going to be ripping through these fights now. It's again, really good having it saved the sirens, making better use of them with everybody at the point where like, okay, this is my actual squad I want to use. These levels, underground, not a problem whatsoever. And I like this. It's not keyless tower because that's what we did get from here. So I do approve of this over the dwarf castle check. It'd be nice to have another character because maybe we want to swap out this Yang, but still solid.
With the equipment that both of our runners have, I might actually be sleeping a lot less on Yang. I wish I had a cat claw for him here. But then again, we do have a ton of equipment here, so his services aren't as important here. A lot of different ways to go here. Unfortunately, the water barrier does come up before that ice 3, but Tella doesn't care here. He's got a Stardust Rod, so that's actually going to hurt. And that might be what Soleras is thinking. Hey, I've got a Stardust Rod to put on this Tella. He can actually sling some magic around here.
Yeah, he's actually to the point where he contributes more than just, I cast Berserk. It's like, no. You cast Big Boy tier 3 spells. That Stardust Rod probably more in stats than he would get through every other piece of equipment in the entirety of the vanilla game. And probably what most people give to him in the first place. They kind of look, Tella, anchor, go. Whereas right now, he's kind of doing great more than that. Oh, that's a blue robe.
50-50 chance to be happy or super annoyed. Coming up here, we also do see either the Baron Guards or the Kaipo Inn being teleported up to the Ruby spot. So, yeah, goodbye, free boss. We knew you well, or we didn't know you at all, really.
Yeah, so we know that that is a fun fight that could be out of the point. It's the alt gauntlet. Yeah. All right. So, why oh why, Night Dew, do you love to call this annoying as a fight here?
Oh man, we don't really. I mean, yeah, Tella's here, but we really don't have. Yeah, that Stardust Rod is going on here. It's all hands on deck. But again, with this party, there are no real like big sweepers. Those stone men got a lot of magic defense, anyways. So again, this is just a slog here. Now, mind you, this spot is usually a slog, as it has a ton of hit points here. But combining all the Dr. Luge stuff into this slot here, and oh my, do we? Yeah, we have trapdoors over on Soleras' side now.
So, now hear me out. The reason why is because again, you have an RA1 character in the Cecil. If you can buffer as he's been doing and get this wall up, yeah, look at this. Who needs sirens when you can get the jankiest, freest grind of your life? And again, it gives you time for menuing. There's so many great things about the door grind. It's not quite the egg level, but it is going to get Rosa a grand amount of XP. Going to get this Cecil completely online. And again, we have a Luca key. We can now fight anything in here with this grind. I'm so here for this. This is the kind of stuff where, like, you see, one door and gone. Come on, man. You're playing with my heart, Soleras.
I mean, it's only 31-1 as opposed to 34, so you're only down 2,900 XP. Oh no, and I actually see Soleras probably coming out here, dropping. No, he's leaving. I was thinking he was going to come in there, drop a save, and oh, look, that tofu. So the reason you actually still want to cast her up is because your physical fighters, unless they have to be, packing crystal swords, aren't really going to do much to these guys.
Yeah, the nice thing again about the Stardust is the fact that it does damage. It's not elemental, so it's like you're not hitting the weakness of the Tofus, which is fire. Yes, there are some enemies that have elemental weaknesses too that you may have forgotten because, when do you fight them last? But I do also forget that this is a double Chimera fight here. But Light Sword Cecil kind of just goes, nah, I don't care.
He gets that done. He protects his friend Kane, who has not stabbed him in the back just yet. Give it time, it's coming.
Look, the only way he's going to stab someone in the back is, oh man, and we have a hook. So that is required somewhat so far, Tower. And here's the other blue robe. So Soleras has got to be sweating though, because he's no idea at the top of Tower.
Yeah, that hook is absolutely gigantic though, because the bad thing is Soleras does have that tower key, is gonna walk up that tower, is possibly gonna see that blue robe, and might decide, nah, I'm good. I don't want that.
That is true. This is, in fact, the curse of knowledge. Knowing that that blue robe will be that really, really annoying fight. Do you take it, or do you just say, nah, I'm out? And if we don't have, and if Hook had been there, or the Twin Harp had been there, and then Hook after that would have been 100% required. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a mental exercise. This is still not the worst. There's other objectives to go mode, and it depends on what the rate is. Because if we get, say, the other half of Forge with the Twin Harp, it's not going to be that bad for Soleras on the moon, something like that.
Meanwhile, I love to see CPU there. One of the most annoying fights in the game with a bunch of HP, but oh wait, it has the HP split between it of 3 Dark Imps. You love to see it, honestly. And we do know Soleras is going to run into Odin here, and I believe Thunderclaw Yang is still in the party here, so prepare to get punched in the face, Odin. It's going to happen twice over, because here's more Yang.
Yeah, that's the really nice thing about this is Yang is there's not a lot of HP in this spot. Berserking that stuff, so I kind of agree with that, just to make him do as much and like maximize it. It's not gonna matter. This spot is not long for the world.
Actually, it looked like completely barehanded Yang based on that animation.
Yeah, maybe. But still, just putting out no, it has to be Thunderclaw because he was doing about 900 damage, and barehanded Yang is not going to do that much at these levels. Probably is the Poison Claw Thunderclaw. I think that's why. Unfortunately, Tower Key I say just a Ninja Hat. Nothing really coming out of it. So Luca Key or Rat Tail kind of our next levels of progression.
Yeah, even with like, you know, how annoying it is not to hit a key item, our Zonks have actually been useful items here.
Speaking of Zonk, what's Luca got?
Oh my, that's a pan. And that's a pass over on the Rat Tail, so now we have our Z-Fight access here. Still no Darkness Crystal yet, but...
Remember that Hanzo Steel you might have been talking about during your last night race?
Yeah, that Hanzo Steel I was really looking for. You shifted the wrong seed.
Look, Asuka and I, we like to toss a few things back and forth. We like to share. She steals things from me every once in a while. It's just how it is. Look, you're not allowed to have nice things when the two of us are around doing restreaming stuff. You guys know how this is.
Yeah, and now we see Starman, and I actually really like this because we do have 2 of those guaranteed tier 5 consumables sitting in the Evelyn item shop here.
This is true, and this is also another shot at our last. There's our sirens, the ever elusive. Here they are. Throw your money down and mute bells. Yeah, that does indicate the possibility of a warlock grind, which I am super excited for. Not gonna check the character. I'm kind of here for this bold action.
I'm kind of here for it. I mean, this is a totally cromulent Z party here. We do know where Bacchus Wine is, so we're not going to have to throw all the berserking on Rose's shoulders here. However, of note, if we will direct our attention to the other side of this, Soleras is turning in that pan and has found a rock. If this is Legend Sword, and Darkness is like on Rude Fey marked bosses, we are actually in no mode at that point here. Or if it's Twin Harp, we are in no mode.
I'm kind of excited for it to be Twin Harp into Legend Sword. I would love to see basically all the objectives come up. But instead, Sheila has the goods in another way. Do we go to the moon or do we stay here? I'm pretty sure we're going to the moon, though.
I mean, after seeing that shop in Cave Eblin here, after seeing the shop in Cave Eblin with sirens and mute bells, and knowing, I don't know if it was Soleras that picked up that mute knife or not. Anyway, Soleras going as straight, beelining Mysidia here. Going to check futures on the moon here. Again, mute bells. I love a warlock grind here. Unfortunately, the big thing right now is Soleras is walking further and further away from the Tower of Babel, especially with the tower key in hand, knowing with us knowing that that hook is very much a great thing to have here.
So, hear me out. For when Starman is done, and if he follows this pan, the runners will be at 10 key items at that point. They can really start their grind now and get their double XP going. Those warlocks, double XP, you kind of just blast through the moon right now, especially with the 6 sets that Starman picked up.
That's probably like on 10 key items. That's probably like 4 more than you actually need. Do like 2 sets of them. That's a casual almost 350,000 XP with 2 life glitches there. More if you do cheeky things there, but yeah, that's enough to feed this team straight through the moon. Rosa might no cure 4 at that rate. And your melee fighters will be even more melee here, but we are likely going to see, yep, we're going to see the Hummingway. I believe hourglasses were the only real J item we have not found here.
And again, we could, like you said, could possibly find him here. Wow, you talk about, you are an absolute witch tonight, Nightdew. Like, I can't believe the stuff you've called and just been absolutely insane. Like, you've called these hourglasses, you call it, like, it just nuts, and I'm so here for it. Although our restreamer and our tracker apparently no longer want to have us calming together. I think I may have put together an evil dynamic duo in you and I. This psychic pair.
I mean, all I have to do is talk about things I'm hoping for, and they appear. I mean, where was this when I was running seeds here? Anyway, we do have a moon character coming up, a casual, 7,000 or 4,000 punch from Yong onto that Odin, and a Rydia who appeared far too late for her time. I am sorry,
That's
sweet summer child. Farewell.
So, we know our characters. We know most of the characters who are in the seed now. I was wrong. We will have... Is it 2 or 3 characters that have taken the nap today? It's 2, right?
It is... No, it's 2. So we still have 1 left over here. It is... Yeah. I believe we have not seen... We have not seen Fusoya, we have not seen Edge, and we have not seen Palom.
Yes, I got a little ahead of myself. So there is 1 more character check left. 2 more character check left. That is the package, and then we have the giant. I am really curious to see who is where. There's also the hook that no one's checked. Interesting to see who's where and what we have. I am saying that right. Like that is the last of the characters. Those 3 locations.
And Soleras says, I have 10 key items. I have a Cecil with Artie arrows, and I have access to gold dragons. So we put it all together here, and what we get is real ultimate power. That's what we get here.
Yeah, that is the 1 siren he has left. Throwing an hourglass here, no problem, and then getting berserked. Gonna be a dang good time. So he may not have a lot of materials, but he is making good use of what he does have. Getting a lot of mileage out of these. And again, this double XP, not going to double life glitch it, unfortunately, for the maximum XP, but is just going to get so much here. It's, 160k, I think, from double XP, if I remember correctly.
Yep, 180k. If you found 2 silver dragons, you would have that was a misfired life potion. Dropping on Tella, who usually needs said drink, but unfortunately it was a missed life glitch, and that's unfortunately a 60,000 XP penalty.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. However, again, this is what happens. It's game one. There's nerves happening. We're in the round of 16. This is like where we're starting to get to the really high up areas. This is where we're getting down to the grind. So you can understand when stuff like that happens. That is a sparkle. We still have a couple of punchy bosses out there. We don't know where our D-Lunars. Actually, no, there's only 2 bosses left. Three bosses: D-Lunars, Plague, and Wyvern. And you don't want to be surprised right after doing a grind.
Oh no, not at all. There, Soleras is gonna give us this check here. Did step outside to save, and I totally get this because if it is Plague, this fight is free given our 8-1 Berserkers here. If this fight is D-Lunars, I don't feel like I want to take it. If this spot is Wyvern, the magic power is a little low here, but yeah, you're really hoping for Plague here is what you're hoping for.
Yeah, Plague's who you want. D-Lunar's not really who you want to see because, as I said, they are the last punchy boss, and this is a spot you do not want to see them. Starman coming back, buying these Bacchus wines, he's getting everything he needs to finish off this seed, has more than enough to get through it. I am not happy about that location of the D-Lunars, and I really hope that has a requirement there. I really hope that has Harp in this Legend Sword there.
Yep. Interestingly enough, Soleras has returned to Earth here, is picking up the other airship, and might actually be saying, I have a tower key. I would like to use it, and sure enough, is running over to that tower battle. Going to be very annoyed. Hope he does not reset out of that blue row, which we do know is a mostly required alt gauntlet. Not full required, but, you know, I hate throwing away objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, check your objectives, check your freebies, and this is not a freebie. The squad he has can just rip through it. They'd be doing a little bit faster than what Starman did, but honestly, not much. The HP here kind of gating a lot of the progress. He will hit slightly harder in a lot of his hits, so there's that benefit. I would be curious if he did the Vermilion Gambit, where we have the half tower play and then just kind of leave. But it is going to be interesting to see what, again, his opinion is, because he didn't save up here, so he could be ambushed by a Wyvern, be very unfortunate. But again, he sees that all gauntlet, and it looks like he's gearing up to take it on.
Looks like he's going to be putting that lightsaber back on, taking a deep breath, saying, "Why me? This is a jerk." And but is uncursing Tella as well here. And is recursing Rosa. Apparently wants Tella online for this set of fights here.
No, and I'm kind of here for this because, again, it's the alt gauntlet. What is Rosa really going to contribute versus Tella? The answer? Kind of nothing. You've got some okay weapons for her. She can hit one enemy. If you know what's coming up here and you know that you've got these tofu, Tella, invaluable by comparison. Like, she absolutely outshines him. So this is a very smart play, knowing that his mage is going to be doing way more work than what this Rose is going to.
Yep.
Unfortunately, getting the bad news of the 1 damage, though.
Unfortunately, we don't see Stonemen that much unless we hit them off the Siren, and usually it's Edge taking care of it anyway. So we might not know that these Stonemen, like most other... unlike Stalemen, do take full damage from Quake, but most of your Golem-type enemies here usually build in with some pretty high magic defense.
Absolutely. Could be throwing on a Charm Claw, which I think one of them might have in their inventory, or might have had in their inventory, just to hit that giant racial weakness. But again, Lightsaber Gungnir kind of hits that as well. Gets the alert. Yang's just going to make, again, very good short work of it, or it's going to have Kane jump, I guess.
If only we had somebody who could steal sirens. Somebody who could wield Hanzo Steel.
Porum?
I'd pay good money for that. Porum with the Masamune, I am here for that.
I mean, I think Demi is also here for that. Have Porum absolutely bonk the heck out of things. But yeah, getting the stopped on the alert, gonna just in case these bruisers don't do enough. Again, don't want to wait for time. You ain't got time for this location as it is.
Yep, Starman getting the good news of hourglasses on the moon here, so we have found all of our tier 5 items, and none of them are missing here. And I would assume with this party is going to avail himself to the same grind here. May actually be using Tello with weak instead of Arty arrows. Both of them have that from that treasury, however, so again, I am it is unfortunate, but this Viridia is definitely a little too far in passing here, and will likely be riding the bench here with a Cursed Ring and Atella in the party already.
Indeed. And so you're looking at the runners and what they've got now. You're going to get the hook from Soleras, and Starman now has access to the moons up here. Each of these runners' locations, Night Dew, from you, because you've been in you've been in this kind of situation before. You've got the Fey March bosses, and you've got the entire moon open to you. Do you do what Starman does, and do you go down to the lunar core and get some XP, or do you take these Fey March bosses if you're here, Soleras on the moon, on the Earth? What's your game plan, out of curiosity? How are you feeling about this?
I have 10 key items right now, and I have access to gold dragons and hourglasses. It is, and I have characters like Yong, who get a ton out of a grind here. I am probably at this point doing, at least what I assume Starman is going to be doing, knocking out 2, maybe 3 gold dragon fights. Not sure what Starman has in terms of camping here yet, or in terms of MP restoration. Might just exit out actually and just like run a top down here. But yeah, with the XP and everything as it is here on the moon, I heartily endorse just rolling on down to LST6 here and making gold dragons into money and XP.
Absolutely. Great insight. The real question after that, though, is do you then just start rolling through this moon, or do you say, I wonder if we just finish off the Earth? Because there really are just the 2 checks left on there. And if you are staying here on the moon, where are you going first?
Given that I'm already down here and maybe Starman still has that cabin, I didn't see if it was used or not here. Kind of looking through that inventory, not seeing it unfortunately here. But again, one thing I'm also, because I like running a boss tracker here, but if memory serves, Kainyatso's out of the pool, Valvolus is out of the pool, Ogopogo is out of the pool, Odin's out of the pool. There's still some stuff you don't want to run into here, like, you know, say Biken. That's probably one of the rudest things you can find up here. Ruby is out of the
Maga
pool.
Sisters?
The Mega Sisters, without a sweeper, I don't really honestly want to see them, no. Yeah, but again, with some of these bosses that are just outside of the pool here, the big thing right now is I'm feeling fairly good about what I could run into. If I find like a Mylon Z, Cecil's gonna carve through him. If I see a Dark Elf, same thing. Either one of the Kaipo guards or the Baron guards, the one we didn't see get teleported away, is still up there. There's a lot of... Yeah, King Queen Evelyn is still out there. There's enough free here that I would at least, even if I don't have the camping here, which I don't see, so you're going to be constrained by Rosa's MP pool here.
This is true. I don't think we also saw Succubus there, so technically you're not constrained by just Rosa's MP. You could have, and be very cheeky about this, have Tella absorb MP from Cecil, and use that Paladin MP that's going to waste right now, and using him as your recovery bot.
This is also definitely a thing, yes. So as it comes down to it, you have a few options here, and again, it's kind of, you know, I'd probably at this point say, yeah, let's drop a save onto LST7, and let's see what we've got in a ribbon room. Let's see what we've got otherwise, as Soleras is picking up the hovercraft. Going to turn in both of those tails, probably going to turn in, might be going to Cave Evelyn as well, just to see what's possibly in there. Hasn't found Siren, so I would guess is probably going to do so. And here comes that Psych in stealing Cecil's MP here. Could honestly, now that I think about it, with that Psych there, that does top off Fu right here. So honestly, you could probably just straight up get away with taking a third set of gold dragons, exiting out with what I mean Rosano's exit actually, and at that point you are good for anything.
So after you've done your gold dragons, then let's say you're doing this. Like you've done your gold dragons, you then leave, and you after getting some levels, you go and see these D-lunars at Bahamut. Are you resetting it like what Soleras did, or with Starman's extra levels, are you just going to be like, no, I got you this time, and go about it that way?
That's an interesting question because while they are far more free in that position, your team again, you want Quake, you want Fire 3, you want Leviathan, you want things that this party does not have. Because honestly, to chew through them any way fast, you either want to Lunar Frogs, which means you're going to have to sit through all that offense, which right now Cecil could probably do in his sleep, or you just want to. Yeah, you can't just like force your way like straight through them, I guess is the thing. Yeah, you have Young's power command. That's Mom Bomb. It's
a lot of HP Mom Bomb.
That is a lot of HP Mom Bomb, but actually between 3 Berserkers here, you're going to, even with Tella dropping to the ground there, you're probably going to get through this pretty quick here. Pankraz just coming in. We have a lightsaber for Cecil, so we have the 3rd shiniest of swords.
Also, just because Tella hit the ground doesn't mean he didn't do his most powerful thing. He did get that berserk off on the Yang or the Cecil, one of the two, and did do his job. He cast berserk. Rosa, though, is getting these blinks up, going to protect the fighters in the front row. She's probably going to take next to no damage back here. Whereas we have Soleras doing eggs down here as opposed to gold dragons.
To be fair, honestly, an egg grind, if you can one-shot eggs, is still pretty quick here. It costs a few more sirens, yes, but I'm looking at these levels already, and actually, probably maybe like I'd say somewhere between like 7 and 8 levels down on Starman here, and Starman has done a pair of gold dragon encounters.
It's true, yeah. Soleras has, again, done a little bit extra. He did that extra door, did a couple of eggs as well. So that's where he was slingshotting ahead in the middle for levels, but now Starman's ahead in this part. Gets that Mom Bomb down, doesn't even see the explode. Look at that, as we're talking about these levels. Insane. Gets this double check. That's a double dose of legendary weapons, and Starman, first to hit go mode.
Apparently, Pankraz came in asking about shiny swords and apparently summoned the shiniest of swords here. But yes, that is go mode, and Starman might be rolling back here saying, hey, what about one more set of gold dragons and we're good to go. Starman's got a pass, and yeah, that's huge. Yeah, gonna take one more set of gold dragons here.
So this is actually a really funny way to a storytelling aspect. So we have classic Forge on. So when you go to hand this in, he's like, here's an X-Cal, never mind, this is mine. And he keeps it. But we got an X-Cal from the chest where Legend Sword is. So the Excalibur just kind of was created on the moon and had the Legend Sword beside it. So it's like, hey, this is my my precursor to it. So it's like, classic Forge is kind of not there.
I mean, to be fair, the adamant was probably a moon rock anyway.
This is true, because you do have to, in the vanilla game, at least go up to the moon and come down before you can get the X-Cal turned in. So I'm going to say there's a little bit of lunar shenanigans put into play. Though I am very interested to see Soleras going and chasing this Luca key. I hope for his sake that this is going to be music. It's going to make a race out of it. It's not. I think he's a little bit too far behind right now with Starman, with having the levels and everything and this pass, but it definitely is going to make for a nice exciting finish if this is where Harp is.
Even better, Starman has the power of 3 gold dragon, or actually wasn't it? Yeah, it's 3 gold dragon fights here, which roughly translates to about 207,000 gold pieces here. So what we are about to also witness is a cockle shop that Starman can actually throw some money around in. And unfortunately, just a package. Didn't check the boss, but no real reason to check the boss, so don't mind the reset there.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And I did forget that Starman checked it earlier, as according to our tracker. And again, huge shout outs to the guys, the guy and girl doing the back behind the scenes. Awoken Smoke 3 doing great job keeping us on our toes with inventory, and Asuka424 being a wonderful streamer, throwing together this great seed and letting you and I kind of just gab. And again, big shout outs to you, Night Dude. You did real well here in this tournament, and for putting up with my shenanigans after what I did to you is really appreciated. It's great to have you on the couch with me. Should have followed everybody here.
We are here to put up with shenanigans. Anyway, Starman says, Power shirts, yes please. Picks up 2 of them. Trades in. Kokol says, I'm going to keep this holy sword. Wait, that looks familiar. But doesn't think about it, and a crystal magically appears in the inventory. Anyway, Starman at 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 40-ish seconds is in official go mode, and is probably rushing to turn in that earth crystal, or that pass on the quick here. Does have the levels, and I would say is going to be very soon to see a Zeromus fight here.
Oh, absolutely. Soleras, though, taking on this Dark Imps fight, I'm so okay with this because we have these hourglasses, and we're just gonna get the stones. Yeah, not even gonna try and get some bonus XP here. Got all that he needs from those eggs, and just stone out. Okay, bye.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, Solaris is committing to the bit here. Doesn't want anything to do with the moon. Says moon's haunted. Might be proven otherwise here, but down go those dark imps. Here's a very shiny set of armor here. You might have one like it already, but here's another.
To be fair, if this is exactly Mylon Z, that chess piece is probably the best side reward you can get, because that's gonna make this undead enemy do nothing, like absolutely nothing to him, and Cecil can just eat all the attacks. But so while we're talking about hypotheticals here, and am I a witch? I am a witch. That is a great Fey March there. I see there's a whole bunch of Z flags out in chat. So we have Zeromus. Why do we have all these flags?
Why do we have all these flags? Because somebody had a lot of blue cloth and white stitching and said, we are going to make a ton of Z flags. However, we got lucky here because all we get to see here is we are setting up to Zeromus here, who can't be put in any other boss spot, and we are going to ask here, whose butt are we going to scout? No, wait, kick today?
Alternatively, is butt cute? Get in your predictions.
I am going to say we will. I will say yes to cute butt here.
I honestly hope that we get something new, something we haven't seen before. I know that one of our other restream leads, Alicel, had one put in for her fantastic work during the Threema Zone, 1-1, and we haven't seen it, or I haven't seen it in the wild yet, and that's something I'm excited to see. So let's see. We have it revealed. Keep those hands away from snapping.
Yeah, that is. I missed cute there. That is definitely not cute. I also missed what Soleras found, but with that ribbon going onto Rose, I'm going to guess it was a ribbon here.
Indeed.
As we are here to say, honestly, it's less about the cute butt and more as our heroes try desperately to pry that golden gauntlet off of Thanos' hand here. Unfortunately, it's like gonna fall onto Tella's hand here. Who knows what he's gonna do with it?
And Starman says, Thanos says, I am inevitable, because we have to fight him at the end of every seed. And Starman says, with his huge lead here, says, I am going to kick you. And is just ripping through. But yeah, the track, or Smoke and Night Dew, it was in fact a ribbon here. And unless this Odin check has the harp, it is 100% a required moon, which it's been a hot minute since we've seen one.
I love required moons. They have grinds. They have everything you could ever want on them, and even when it's completely haunted, it's a fun time.
Like when they have two objectives side by side.
Yeah, like when they have two objectives side by side.
That was a high roll Big Bang for being nerfed though. That was 1,000 damage on pretty much everybody.
Yeah, it was. Now, to be fair, you have. And I'm actually kind of surprised it hit the Rosa that hard because I'm pretty sure that Rosa is rocking like Sorcerer, Protect Ring, something good in the head slot. Maybe not like a dodge stick like a Life Staff or anything like that. But honestly, with this team, I'm not even worried about nerfs anymore. I'm just gonna sit on Rosa's turn, watch my Berserkers berserk, and toss out a Cure 4 while sipping your adult beverage of choice.
So let's talk about the damage that Cecil's putting out there. Again, like 3,700, he alone is all that's necessary on this fight. 4,600, yeah. The Excal, Cecil, Rosa, they're doing. You have basically two Cecils going out here between Yang and Kane together, and then Cecil himself hitting. And Rosa, yeah, getting out these cures because there's really nothing else she needs to do. She's just waiting for the refills and is like, hey, let's get this cure. But I'm pretty sure we had a flip in between there, so that's why the Big Bang didn't go. I think that's what he was prepping for.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we can't see it now, but there's like Rose is just like being depicted in this fight. In reality, she's like sitting on a lawn chair in the ether here. No cares in the world given here.
It's like the Roxier. We're not seeing that second Big Bang. The second Excalibur in the pool, though, that's crazy. So Womp kind of for Soleras, but great because he doesn't have that Excal Cecil yet. But no, I definitely see like the Squidward meme where Rose is kind of sitting there sipping on a drink. He looks up for shades, goes back down, and has a nice nap. Because yeah, Thanos, crack, bang, boom, inevitable. Starman wins. That is one of three of these best of three. Joining us for an interview with the official time of 1:18:18. GG, Starman.
GG's.
So I guess what are you thinking here? Like let's go back to the full-on beginning of the seed. We've got Eddie, we've got Cecil, we've got a Black Sword. I mean, both of you went straight over to like Watery Pass. I mean, what were you really hoping for from the go with those two party members there?
Like maybe a dancing dagger somewhere, which I don't think I ever found one.
No, and actually Soleras did find one there, and did it in the same, like, I swear, like, hey, you know what, Dathis, I will give you your piece of vanilla here that you missed, that we all missed. Because that that weapon shop in Mist Village definitely had dancing daggers for sale.
Oh, I thought he pulled that one out of the Kaipo shop.
Oh, well, no wait, was it the Kaipo shop?
Yeah, it was the Kaipo
was
shop
the
because it
Kaipo
was
shop.
right before the check of Sid in the bed.
I tried.
I appreciate it, and you know what? Thank you for looking out for me. That's the real heart. This is why you're a true bro, and why I picked you to join me with comms tonight.
Yep. So, yeah. So I believe, yeah. After that, you decided to run to the moon with your 10 key items, hit a gold dragon grind, and again, the other thing is you really didn't have like any MP restoratives, no camping. You rolled through that mom bomb, but what was your thoughts on having a very limited resource?
If that didn't have anything, if it didn't have the Excal, and especially if it didn't have that Legends Horde, I was going to be in full-on reset for resources mode throughout that entire moon.
Yeah. Now, also, you talked to me about that Day-Lunar spot right there, Dathis, and I'm actually going to rebuke myself here because the magic power on there is kind of bad, honestly. And Soleras is actually just showing us, hey, you know what? Let's just fire off their virus script, because you know what? It's a lot better than them just hitting me with punching.
Which spot is this? I only saw Mob Bomb.
Yeah, this is Cave Value here with the D-Lunars.
Woo, yeah.
But yeah, again, you rolled through that one. You decided not to go back to the Fame Arch with the two, we'll call them free adjacent bosses there. Yeah, you just made the correct choice there. So what are your other thoughts on this seed here?
During Fey March, I didn't want to take it the first time I was down there because I just didn't have any way of like actually getting past those. MC would just punched me right out. I went to the moon once I had 10 key items because I was saying here like, okay, maybe there'll be hourglasses up there. I found sirens, and I wasn't really feeling going back through all the cave down to get to the Fey March, which usually punishes me every time I go down there.
Punishes very many people who decide to go down there, even when it is required here. And actually, I'm trying to kind of look through the. I missed a few things here on the rollback here. Only a glass hat in K value, so D-Lunar is not required. But yeah, Soleras has went through everything on Earth. So unfortunately, unfortunately for Soleras, who did clean out the entirety of Earth, Moon not haunted today. Great for you. Anything you're I mean, you won with this, so I'm gonna assume there's nothing really want to change up for game 2 here. 118 is an actual wonderful time for bracket flags, actually.
Not really. That seed felt very smooth to me. That Ogopogo was rude, but
Totally forgot about that
I was
guy.
very happy with that. That was a rude ordeals, and I was kind of here for it. Kane made the Valvalis free, yes, but I loved watching you guys have a little bit of issues before finding your healers.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of interesting to see you bouncing between even the Baron in, I believe it was, yeah, Elements in the second slot, which you both handled there. That Porum there, I guess that's the last thing I kind of want to ask there. You decided at the top of the Tower of Zot to, both of you decided to bin the Rosa and I believe you keep the
Eddie.
Tella. Yeah, you bin the Rosa, or you bin the Porum, you bin the Eddie. And there's, oh look, there's the other Mylon fight. But yeah, was it just, hey, there's so much utility on this Tella, there's my grind, let's just use him to kill gold dragons?
a little bit. And I was also thinking head to the Z fight where Rosa has much more safety than the Porum. Also, I'm looking at Twin Harp was right next to the Ribbon Altar, so.
Hey Dathis, that look familiar? Objectives in neighboring rooms?
Look, Asuka, if you're just want to flirt with me more by copying me, I'm so here for this. But no, that is honestly great. I do love that. Moon again, 100% required, and that's is very cheeky. The real question though, Starman, speaking of that Twin Harp, do you give us some Twin Harp music since we didn't get it?
Yes, it'll be a moment, but because I wasn't actually thinking about it, and yeah.
Well,
no, that's fine. But
yeah.
So you're up one game. It is best of 3. How confident are you now that you have this game in the bag for going into round 2?
I'm not taking anything for granted at this point. I know I can I know I don't sit. I know I'm not like that off going into my cases of nerves, but I know full well I can get into my own head real easily, so I'm not going to give myself the chance.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is the round of 16. Nerves are, speaking from experience, nerves are an extremely real thing here, and I mean, you played through that fantastically. I mean, it started out rude, and then here we go. We got a white spear on the Mirasame altar here. Soleras going to be diving deep, probably going to find one of those 2 key items here on the next check. But yeah, again, extremely well played, Starman. And when's your round 2 match, actually, now that I think about it?
Tomorrow, I believe. Noonish? I don't know. I'd actually have to go look. Give me a second.
Sure.
Either way.
Well, another thing I will actually note, I was going to leave myself absolutely no reason to go back up Tower of Zot. That's why I took the gauntlet there. I just kind of went, and did it.
I mean, you had a character objective there, and when the party rock starts calling with a character objective, I totally agree with just getting it done.
That and Tower of Babel with the gauntlet.
Yeah, no one does like that babble. So this is something that happened on Soleras' side. I'm gonna ask him the question. he did Dwarf Castle before he went up to Babel. If you had done it in that order instead and knew that this was going to be Alt Gauntlet, would you have changed your tune? Be like, okay, like we just stay here, or or would you have just kept going and said, you know what, let's just knock it out and not worry about it?
Well, here's the thing. Versus Dark Kobold in our game 1 match, I found Alt Gauntlet at Ogopogo spot, and I still took it.
Dang, that's bold. A lot of runners hate that.
So compare that Alt Gauntlet to that one, yeah, no, I just take that every time and get it out of the way. Like I had a Yane with like a Thunderclaw, I blaze through the alerts and just everything's fine.
Absolutely. So we are getting music. Wrinkly 64 from Donkey Kong Country 3. Again, great music, great harp rendition. I'm excited for us. I know we're gonna have this played more in the background as we go through this. I'm super excited for seeing you in your next game. You played this very well, very methodically. And the question I have as well, you are still kind of like going through things. Why not check the character in the hook route just to see what it could be? Because you could have had an edge there, maybe to replace the Yang or even replace the Kane, who's kind of only rocking like a Gungnir at this point, and you've got Hanzo Steel. What kind of drove you away from that check?
If I go in there and it's nothing, I wasted a couple of minutes, like 30, 40 seconds, and it could have been a Fu, it could have been a Kane, or it could be an edge. I don't know. It just it wasn't that exciting to me. I was already fairly comfortable with my characters. Also, I didn't want to waste time menuing to equip things.
Fair, mad respect, and again, just shows the different decision making, and just the way again, great decision making, very well played, very very calm, and like 118-18. Even if things were falling in the right spots, you still handled a fairly medium to low power team through a kind of medium to rude overworld very well, and I'm excited to see your next round.
Thank you.
You got any other questions from Night Dew?
No, just looking forward to see game 2 here. I'll probably be working, unfortunately, but I will definitely, again, best of luck going forward, and yeah, extremely well played one more time here.
I'll let you both go, as it looks like Soleras is about ready to finish up this seed.
Soleras has done the most important thing and robbed Kokol, taking the item off the shelf. It was an ice armor. We don't care. We're taking it because he's keeping this crystal.
But he doesn't
something away from him.
He doesn't fully rob Kokol there. There is still one other treasure chest that people don't really think about. So where those stairs are, there's actually a little hidden path, and there's a bonus chest back there. You can always make sure you take that. That could have something nice too. You can just take everything from the dwarf because he didn't give you an X-Cal.
I know, right? But anyway, yes, Soleras, while we were talking there, did find the room with the holiest of swords there, and is running up to likely giving Thanos another solid round of butt kicking. Unfortunately, this means we're going to have 2 Infinity Gauntlets hanging around here, and I'm not sure what we're going to do with all that.
I mean, well, first we took one off, and we went for the head for one. And this one is Thanos from the past. So, I mean, not much we can do about this one aside from take it off and throw it in the Asgardian vault. Although, I heard that one was a fake.
To be fair, I believe if, and I'm not the person who has the most knowledge of the multiverse here, but I'm pretty sure there are, like, for however many Earths there are out there, there are Infinity Gauntlets, so, let's just say we've got a few kicking around here. We'll throw them in the broom closet, the same one we keep all the adamant armor in. We don't need any of those in these seeds.
Just have the Hulk swallow these stones. It's all good. But yeah, we do have Soleras coming up, going to the squad, same verse, same second verse, same as the first, and we are going to get ourselves another Zroma's fight. I again don't expect to see a second Big Bang whatsoever from this squad. That is a whole bunch of butt whooping, and Soleras even has a better weapon on this cane. We have double holy swords swiping.
Yeah, did not stop to grab the power shirts, unfortunately. Doesn't need them, less unfortunately here. As we do see what's starting here, we do see an initial berserk. Here comes the crystal out to fly here, and Thanos miss, unfortunately, picking a fight with the wrong party here. As here we go.
This is interesting. I've never thought of using your top slot character to throw out the crystal and having Tella throw out a berserk. I'm gonna have to steal this for fun little tech.
Yeah, I always kind of thought about it because you realize it's just like that first shake there, and the second shake happens while you're queuing up your action here. Doesn't seem to have those Bacchus wines, but again, probably doesn't care. Might actually get one more berserk out of this Tella here, especially with the misses coming out. So we haven't really even advanced much in the way of ATB here. So yeah, Tella's second turn comes out. Here comes another berserk, and honestly, Soleras is in the same exact position as Starman was. Nerfs, we don't care. Rosa has really good gear and 2,400 hit points. Do your worst, Thanamus.
Yeah,
It won't be enough.
I'm kind of surprised actually. Solaris was the one who picked up those silk webs. Uses the crystal to nerf as opposed to the silk web. Could have just forgotten. Again, you're at the end of the seed. It does take a lot out of you, having been one of the person who's been on the receiving end of a good long thrashing. You forget things, you kind of rush, and you just go. I 100% understand that. But yeah, Cecil taking that counter nuke and being like, "I'm sorry, what's happening?"
I'm sorry, my armor is far too shiny for this here. You're gonna have to try a little bit harder than that. Which leads me to say, why did we even call on the Avengers when we have our party of Final Fantasy characters here? Because clearly, we needed about a couple 100,000 less troops to actually get this done here.
Would you say that the shiny armor he has would be the fabled armoire of invincibility with how little damage he took?
I mean, did they take that wrong turn in the Forest of No Return? Have they been there?
I mean, they haven't hit one of the Chocobo forests yet, so unfortunately, not quite yet. And we also don't have a Black Mage to cast Lit Death, so sad. But we do have probably one of the nicer sprites for Rosa. I do approve of that one. And the vanilla. So we did have some vanilla dab. We had the vanilla Cecil sprite, and you know what? I'll take it. We'll fight for it. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see...
All I can think of is we need to like teach Palom Hadouken or something.
I mean, that's kind of the closest we're gonna get.
I mean, I will 8-bit theater this all day here.
Oh, dude, absolutely. So, wait, we did find a second Excalibur, and we do have Yang. The two of them together, we can make sword chucks.
Fully making sword chucks.
But we do have something of another level of death. We do have Rox sitting here on Solaris' side. This Thanos is the last stand. He's not going to get much more out of it. He's going to be absolutely disintegrated, destroyed by the power of holiness, the power of the fists. That is the crack. Again, bang, boom. Get your GGs out in chat. While we are, in fact, having a Solaris join us, does, in fact, fall to 0-1 of this best of 3, but again, GG's on a very, very solidly raced seed.
Push to talk. Hi. Hello. Thank you.
There we go. What's up? How are you feeling after running that? Again, hour 35:25. Good time. It's still a great time for these bracket flags. How do you feel about the overall performance of that seed?
Obviously the start with the Ogopogo was not ideal, but after that moment happened, I sort of had two options. It was like, well, I either hope my opponent also stumbled in that scenario, or I start making risky plays, and kind of both seemed like both those options seemed unlikely to me. The rest of the seed was pretty linear. I was just kind of hoping to, fall into go mode, but it did not turn out that way. I mean, it'll be interesting to go back and watch and see how it played out. It sounds like I was behind, but um, given that the Twin Harp and the Legend Sword, or whichever one it was, were both at the bottom of the moon, given my choice, I don't think I was ever winning this one, so I can't feel too bad.
Yeah, I was gonna ask there. I mean, obviously you had all the tools, especially Gungnir Kane, Light Sword Cecil. You had all that. What was the impetus between just saying, "Hey, I'm going to completely clean the Earth out right now. Moon's haunted."
I just had too much to do on the Earth still. I didn't do Tower at all. And then once I'm down there, there's also Luca Key and the Fey March and the Odin Throne. I mean, we like Moon because there's a density of key item checks, right? But I had a similar density of key item checks left on Earth that were more likely to lead to something. So that was my mindset.
And you know what? Still a really solid choice. So we asked this of your opponent, Starman. We're gonna ask it of you too. So we're going back to the start of the seed. You see 69,000 gil. You see an Earth Hammer for a Sid that you found in bed, but no Sand Ruby till Ogo Pogo. So that's not happening. What is your game plan getting out the gate, and what are you feeling seeing the way this is starting out?
I checked equipment immediately and saw Black Sword and Cecil, so I felt fine. I went shopping. Well, I looked at Kaipo in general because we were on a double character hunt and just happened to stumble on a dancing dagger, so I felt extra fine. Beyond that, it was just sort of the characters I saw later on and wanting to find gear for them, but otherwise, felt really comfortable with that open. And then I found Cursed Ring pretty early too. Actually, in Kaipo also, I think. Either that or it was Fabul, one of those.
Yeah, you bought it in Fabul, but there's actually one in the Damsian basement. We were talking about that treasure area. Normally, you don't have like a lot of. You have a lot more zero chests, which there were, but what chests were there were fantastic. I think it was most notably was again that cursed ring, and then we had a thunderclaw for the Yang that we found eventually.
Also, Black Belt too, if I recall too.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
it. And I think a Boreas too. Like solid items.
Yeah, and the chests I chose to open in Outline were all 0 GP. I mean, that's just how the randomizer goes, right?
I feel your pain.
Oh.
Truly, I do.
I had no incentive to do that looting because I had Black Sword, Dancing Dagger. Like, I just didn't need loot at that point.
Yep.
And again, that's interesting to see from your guys' point of view. As runners, you're less incentivized because of what you had to start and what you were able to find again in the shop, and that just shows that level of like difference between someone who's more of an outside observer like myself on these flags. I'd still be kind of more tempted to do some looting, but again, nothing wrong with any different way back and forth because both are great great ways of going as we've seen. So we're getting to about the mid game. You see Tella and you see Rosa on Zot. What's your thought process with the two of them? And you did the exact same thing that Starman did. You dumped Porum and Eddie. What was the process behind that?
I'm gonna get exit either through Rosa or Tella. I have a cursed ring. Tella is a great anchor. Tella enables like Tella is basically doing what Porum could do if I kept Porum, right? Somebody has to be the anchor. And it was like just at that point where I could still get Rosa experience to get to Berserk. I chose to do a door. I mean, I didn't necessarily need to do that. You can curse Rosa instead and let Tella be the Berserk caster when I went to Dwarf Castle. But I mean, either way, my mindset was this is like about the perfect time to get rid of Porum. And then I need an anchor and don't need Edward. So it was a pretty easy choice.
Speaking of anchors, you actually did a little bit of different anchoring, and something that not a lot of people I've seen a lot of people do. You actually kept Rosa as your anchor and left Tella to do the damage. Was that because you found that Stardust Rod and knew that he could throw out more than what Rosa was, or what was the reasoning behind that?
At first, because Rosa was base level, and then that alt gauntlet. Of course, I forgot that alt gauntlet on towers mostly alerts, but I mean, it was still fine that he was the first actor there. Otherwise, I cursed Cecil early on because I just didn't have anything for him. But yeah, I mean, Tello was my anchor for most of that.
Yeah, well, here you are. You're down 1-0. And again, that was you kind of just really only. I mean, honestly, there's really not much to change here. Still, you had a really solid run. I mean, yeah, it was that back attack was still kind of a. It's still kind of a rude Ogopogo there, but yeah, it's yeah, I could totally see this, kind of going the other way just as well here. So again, good luck going forward here. And yeah, and I believe he said it was like noon tomorrow. I believe is your next match or something like that. I think that's what Starman said.
2 p.m.
Oh, 2 p.m. Okay.
Yep, and otherwise, thank you, of course, as always, to the Restream team for putting this on. There's no show without you guys, and yeah, I'm just gonna bring my A game tomorrow, see what happens.
See that regardless, and go ahead.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see you bring an A game. I want to see, if not a Cinderella story, definitely want to see 3 games, and I want to see you bite back and show off the skill that put you here, because you've been doing fantastically so far.
Yeah, thank you for that, and GG's to Starman, and yeah, see you all tomorrow. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Again, GG's to both of our times for these seeds, doing around the 20, almost a full clear of the entirety of this seed. Again, you should give runners to the follows to the 2 runners. Again, also follow the lovely restream team we had, Asuka and Smoke doing the restreaming tracking specifically, and we also have Night Dew, my co-commentator here, doing a heckin' job keeping me on point and correcting me and kind of showing off again the prowess and knowledge he has as a runner of his caliber.
Yeah, man, you gotta make me blush here. But yeah, thank you, and it's been an absolute fun night here tonight. Would do again, much absolutely. But I believe, unfortunately, that time is coming to an end, and I believe we are kicking things over to, it looks like, Free Enterprise, as we do believe we have, I think that's match 2 with Penguinator and Propcore, I believe.
I believe you would be correct. So yeah, it's going to be a great match. As we always say, please do not spoil the results of this one to anybody in that chat. You will definitely not want to have that happen. There will be bonks, there will be newspapers. I will test. They do hurt. I have gotten many in my time here in Free Enterprise. I have become immune to the power. But also don't spoil, or else the witches of both Witchdew and Dathis will come for you. But again, have yourselves a lovely night, and for our restream team, thank you very much for watching. Again, thank you very much for Randomania for letting us put this race on.
I think they're just daring Scala to get larger newspapers now.
Do it. I'm here for it.
Good night, everybody.